Hi, I'm Donna from the North Carroll branch. Welcome to What to Read Wednesday. Sometimes there is no more satisfying read than a historic fiction book. If your author has done it right and researched his or her time period well, reading a historical novel can be a fun way to learn about history. One of my favorite historical fiction authors is Fiona Davis. She's had many interesting titles, all highlighting different periods of time, a specific building, and the women experiencing them in exciting New York City. There was The Doll House, which featured the Barbizon Hotel for women during the 1950s. The Address, which featured the Dakota apartment house in 1884. The Masterpiece, featuring Grand Central Terminal in 1928. The Lions of Fifth Avenue, starring the New York Public Library in 1913, and the book I'll be focusing on today, The Chelsea Girls, featuring the Chelsea Hotel during the period spanning the 1940s to the 1960s and covering the McCarthy era. The book opens during World War II when two young women, Hazel Ripley and Maxine Mead, meet as performers in a USO show in Italy. Though employed as an actress, Hazel greatly prefers writing. She is your typical girl next door and prefers being behind the scenes. But she has been pushed by her former vaudeville parents, still grieving the loss of their son, Ben, a wonderful actor. Ben had been killed in the war. Now Hazel is expected to carry on the Ripley name in show business. So Hazel does her best to placate them. Maxine, on the other hand, is true star material. She is beautiful and flashy and loves being in the limelight. She can act and enjoys belting out a tune anytime. One day, while the two girls are out, they spot two teen boys being harassed for stealing bicycles. Things are getting out of hand, and the townspeople are threatening them with physical harm. Maxine climbs behind the wheel of a Jeep and drives into the fracas. The occupants of the Jeep come to the aid of the boys. They discover one was Italian, the other German. Maxine has a German grandmother and speaks to the German boy in his language. She finds that the two were working with the Italian resistance. Maxine explains this to an American officer. He is impressed that she knows German and enlists her to speak to Germans on the radio with American propaganda. He wants her to make a regular weekly program. However, a week later, Hitler commits suicide. The officers say there's no longer a need for the American propaganda show for the Germans. Hazel proposes a new radio show for the American soldiers, one that will boost their spirits. The colonel agrees, and Hazel writes the programs, and Maxine reads them. Hazel and Maxine spend so much time together that they get to know each other. Before they know it, they have bonded. Hazel discovers that Maxine had known and briefly dated her brother Ben while in New York. Maxine describes the amazing Chelsea Hotel where she lived and its occupants, mostly artists, actors, writers, and musicians. When the war ends, Hazel ends up living in the Chelsea herself. She is thrilled that a friend of Maxine's has taken an interest in the play she has written and helped find a Broadway producer for it. Meanwhile, Maxine has taken Hollywood by storm. She has an argument with her boyfriend, Arthur, and decides to come visit Hazel. Quickly, it's decided to cast Maxine in the lead role of Hazel's play. The producer and Maxine convince Hazel to direct the play as well. This is Hazel's big break. Rehearsals seem to be going well, and things are coming together beautifully. But something rotten rears its ugly head. It seems to start when a local actress is angered when Maxine is cast in the role she has been promised by the producer. Suddenly, it seems as if the cast and crew of the production is under surveillance by the Committee for Un-American Activity. Hazel is baffled. Why would anyone be suspicious of them? After all, this is a play about World War II from the perspective of an American woman. She and Maxine served in the USO, entertaining American troops. Her brother had lost his life fighting for the United States. Floyd, the costume designer, who the girls had met in Italy, seems to be a target. He is led away for questioning. The girls are concerned for him. Hazel is astonished when her own name appears in a publication called Red Channels, a list of people in the entertainment business that have a link to communism and should be blacklisted. Her un-American activities include attending an anti-fascist rally said to have been a communist front, donating an old coat to a charity for Spanish refugees, and being a member of the Actors Equity Association. How could these simple activities be construed as anti-American? Hazel is outraged, but she is also concerned because the people who are investigating are powerful, and this could affect the outcome of her play, her future, her life, and the lives of the people around her. Maxine, for instance, we learn that she had attended a political rally with Ben, Hazel's brother, on a date. That rally was for communism. Maxine was only there for a short time, and she hadn't really understood what it was about. Many of the Chelsea's occupants are being scrutinized. Many of them had supposed ties to communism as well, especially Lavinia Smarts, the woman who had found a producer for Hazel's play. This story spans many years, and we see how the taint of McCarthyism affected lives, livelihoods, and most of all, relationships. Hazel and Maxine had a lasting friendship. They were truly sisters. They had seen each other through so much: the war, the play, Maxine's relationship with the abusive Arthur. Their friendship is tested during this truly trying time. This is a story of enduring friendship with all its elements, from funny moments to times of darkness and betrayal. It's also a story of an interesting time period and offers a unique perspective of some of the people it affected. I found it to be a satisfying read. I hope you'll give it a try. The Chelsea Girls is available in print, large type, and ebook through Overdrive and Libby. Thanks for watching today. What to Read Wednesdays or every other week at noon.